World News Saturday. Here's Carol Simpson.
Good evening. It's been 5 days since a plane carrying Texas Congressman Mickey Leland and 15 others disappeared in the wilds of Ethiopia. And still there's no word, no signs of what could have happened. 4 U.S. helicopters joined what's now become an international search for the congressman's plane. A search that had to be called off early today on account of bad weather. As each day passes, however, there's growing fear that the outcome of the search may produce a tragic result. We have 2 reports, and we begin with Richard Sergey in Addis Ababa.
Poor weather in the Ethiopian capital briefly delayed today's search operation. It gave the crews flying the American Black Hawk helicopters a little extra time to get ready for their first mission here.
We're looking for a down twin otter, white with blue markings, best we can determine. We don't know exactly where it's at.
With the weather improving, the choppers, which are able to fly lower and for longer periods, took off. 2 giant U.S. Hercules with sophisticated electronic gear on board also joined in. While the rescue planes are in the air, a U.S.-Ethiopian task force continually monitors their progress. The Air Force released pictures of their search today in a remote and rugged area to the west of the Ethiopian capital. The helicopters, which are refueled in midair, are crisscrossing the flight path to a refugee camp where Leland's plane was heading before it disappeared. Late today, the rescue aircraft returned from the intensive search without finding any trace of the missing plane. But 2 of Leland's congressional colleagues, here to monitor the situation, say they haven't given up hope.
We'll be going out every day until we locate Congressman Leland's plane and his party.
Mickey's my brother. Until we find him and know everything that we have to know, I'm going to remain optimistic.
Tonight, a U.S. Embassy official defended the military's effort from criticism that not enough was being done to find Leland.
To date, we have searched an area of 100,000 miles, which is equivalent to the state of Wyoming.
Publicly, U.S. officials say they are optimistic that Leland's plane will be found, but privately they are expressing pessimism with each passing day. Richard Sergey, ABC News, Addis Ababa.
This is Kathleen DELASKI in Washington. After a detailed briefing from State and Defense Department officials this morning, Leland's staff members withdrew yesterday's criticism of the U.S. government search effort.
We have assurances that the commitment from the top, which we knew existed and which we acknowledged, that commitment is still there. And further, that sense of commitment and sense of urgency are now operating at all levels.
We had no doubt yesterday that we were conducting this thing with diligence and with all the available resources and all necessary resources, and now we seem to be all in agreement.
To demonstrate their diligence, Pentagon officials gave the press an exhaustive briefing and explained that weather and a lack of information had hindered their search. Leland's plane was headed for a refugee camp 260 miles west of the Ethiopian capital. But since the plane carried enough fuel for a return trip, search teams say it could have veered off course as much as 500 miles. Also, searchers are losing hope that they will pick up signals from an emergency locator beacon on board the plane.
As time passes, the power output of that emergency locator beacon will decline eventually to the point we won't be able to hear it anymore.
Captain Bloyer says if anyone survived after the plane went down, given the moderate climate, they could still be alive. Although that hope is fading, the U.S. government is intensifying its search. The Pentagon is sending 5 more search and transport planes and 100 additional people to be in place by Monday, making this the largest military search for a civilian that Pentagon officials can remember. Kathleen DELASKI, ABC News, the Pentagon.